want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ the Tar Heel. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the 78-70 comeback win, the number 17 North Carolina Tar Heels over the Florida State Seminoles in the Dean Dome to start ACC play 1-0. And boy, was it not pretty. Carolina took a 6-point deficit into the half. That deficit ballooned to 14 points into the stinking second half. And if it wasn't for Hubert Davis transitioning about 5 minutes into the second half to a full court kind of press, full court pressure, I don't know that we're in here smiling right now, man. I'm going to be completely honest with you. That change, 10, 15 minutes left in the second half, was it was coaching genius, because if we don't make that change, we're going to continue to allow the same thing to happen over and over. Florida State's going to go down the stinking floor. They're going to set up their offense. They're going to bang threes. And we just could not do anything to stop them until we started getting that full court pressure going, man. So, hey, tip your cap to Hubert Davis. He made a good coaching decision, and it ended up playing out really well for the Heels. 78-70 in a battle. Like I said, they got outscored 35-29 in the first half. And if this was the stinking bucket in the first half, there was a lid on said bucket. Carolina was thinking, just settling for jumpers. They weren't really pounding the ball in consistently. And you saw what happened, right? They just could not put a lot of offense on the board. But the second half was a very different thing. They outscored Florida State 49-35 to get that 78-70 win. Florida State was real even up and down their roster. Miller got 12 points. Green, the forward, got 12 points. Jameer Watkins had 17. And then Green Jr. had 12. He had a couple of big threes a little bit later in the game. He goes 4 for 9. North Carolina, Harrison Ingram had a real pedestrian first half, but he turned it up in the second half and brought a ton of energy. And even though it wasn't his best ball game per se, you gotta love what Harrison did in the second half. He finishes with 11 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals. Armando Bacot, another double-double. He goes for 13-13. He had 11 defensive rebounds with 2 offensive rebounds, 4 for 8 from the field. So once again, under 10 shots. And then he goes 5 for 5 from the free throw line. Elliot Cadeau, he has 3 assists and 1 turnover. So he's still maintaining that 3 assists to turnover ratio right now. 3-to-1 turnover to assist ratio. That's a good thing. So Elliot is still playing pretty good basketball. He got into some foul trouble. I think he picked up his second foul with about 11 minutes into the game. Maybe like the 8-9 minute mark left in the stinking first half. And they were ticky-tack fouls, man. They were just reaching in, stuff that he can do without. You know, he still got to learn to stay out of foul trouble because we need him on the floor. And you saw in the second half, they just still could not stay in front of this kid. He got to the bucket and made some good finishes at the rim later on in the game. He shot 3 for 5 from the field because he was attacking the glass or getting to the stinking glass, and he finishes with 7 points himself. And how about my man? 6 foot, 180-pound guard from White Plains, New York, bro. RJ Davis, man. Good stinking night. This kid is a baller. 8 for 17, 3 for 9 from 3, 8 for 8 from the free throw line. He finished with stinking 5 assists and 27 points. You don't have a big game from RJ, you might be talking about another thing too, man. Because RJ didn't even necessarily seem like he was hitting everything, but I would say it was a quiet 27. But that's just what RJ does, man. He is a stinking scorer, and he was huge for the Heels, especially with the last 10 minutes of that stinking game, man. He really turned it up. Cormac Ryan finishes with 8 points himself, with 6 boards. He had kind of a pedestrian game for him too, man. But you got to love my man stinking RJ and what he did. Seth Trimble added 9 points himself. So Carolina finishes 42% from the field, 42.1%, 22.7% from 3. 22.7% from 3, man. That's stinking insane considering what they did against Tennessee. And, you know, when you look at it, they just won a basketball game against a decent basketball team, shooting under 25% from 3. So, you know, you kind of got to like that a little bit, man. The grit, the ability to win in different ways, right? Even when you're not playing your best basketball. Florida State finishes 40.3% from the field, 42.9% from the three-point arc, which is way too much. But Carolina out-rebounded them 39-30. Carolina finishes with 6 blocks. They have 7 steals, so they were able to beat out Florida State in both of those categories. And obviously a lot of those came when Carolina picked up that full court pressure, man. So was this game pretty? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Were they a little hangover off of that Tennessee whiskey still? Yeah, probably. You know, a little bit of thinking about that trip up to New York City, playing in the Garden against the defending national champions? Yeah, probably. It probably was on the back of their mind, you know. And they didn't play their best basketball game today. And you know what they did? They got a W. You know, do you want them to play better at home in the Dome? Sure, you do. But you have to admire a team that's down by 14 that has the grit and the wherewithal to continue to fight, continue to battle, scratch, claw, do whatever you have to do to get back in that game, man. And you know what? As a Carolina fan, that's all we've been missing. That's all we've been missing. Just athletic department wide, a little bit of stinking toughness. And they showed a little bit of grit tonight, man. They showed a little bit of grit tonight, and you want to tip your cap and say, hey, kudos, boys. Job well done. So, North Carolina moves to 7-1 on the season and 1-0 in ACC play. And that's huge because like we mentioned before, come January when they restart ACC play, their first 3 games of the year are away. At Pitt, at Clemson, at NC State, man. So those are going to be stinking huge stinking ball games. North Carolina joins Virginia, Miami, and Georgia Tech, baby. How about them Yellow Jackets, son? 1-0. You know why? Because they beat the Blue Devils. What a day. Great day to be a Tar Heel, son. 2 days in a row. Carolina gets the W, and Duke takes an L. Does it get any sweeter than that? Nope, it doesn't. That's pretty stinking outstanding, guys. So it's a great Saturday all the way around. Anytime you can pick up a W and the Dukies take an L, brother, I'm going to take that every single day. I apologize if y'all hear stinking thunder. We're actually under a tornado warning right now, so shh. But anyway, how to get this video out, man. If I start running to the back, you'll know why. So anyway, man, Carolina moves to 1-0, 7-1 on the season, and then that obviously sets up, like I said, the huge game against UConn coming up on the 5th in Madison Square Garden. And you already know, baby, that we're going to be live streaming that one, dude. That's going to be a great freaking ball game and a huge test for the Heels. So, what do you think, man? 78-70. I said initially 82-68. I thought it was going to be a little bit tougher. I thought that Carolina would start out slow, and that's exactly what they did, right? Still didn't get Mondo enough touches, right? Still didn't get stinking Mondo enough touches. But we were able to get the W. So I'm going to take a W all stinking day, baby. I'm going to take a W all stinking day. And we won't even take the stinking camera off because I don't want it to be all stinking crazy. But you can see from here, we're going to do the celebratory. W, babe. W for the Heels, man. 7 and stinking 1. 7-1. How about them stinking Tar Heels? Heels win. Duke loses. Let's stinking go, baby. All right. I love you, Tar Heel Nation, and we will catch you on the next one, baby.